Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about the ASA agent in Salesforce, what it is, how it works, and what you need to configure to get started. I expect you have heard about the Copilot, right? ASA is similar to that, but a bit different. We'll talk about it more over here. So if you see over the screen, right, we see different type of agents. If you see over here, this is the employee one, this is setup agent, we have service agent. Service agent is the one that will take further. So similar to what how we configure in the employee type agent, right? It is similar over here. Firstly, we need to enable the Einstein setup. So let me open the Einstein setup. Once you toggle this section on, right, you'll have to enable the Einstein bot. Let's navigate to Einstein bot now. In the Einstein bot, you'll just toggle on the Einstein bot, and after that, let's navigate to the agent section where we create the agents. Once you navigate over here, you'll just toggle this section on of the Agentforce and create a new agent. In the agent section, if you see, right, there will be different templates that you want to use. At this time frame, we are talking about the ASA agent. So you'll just click on next. You'll opt for the topics. We'll discuss all these things like topics and other things in later point of view as well. But for the time frame, let's have a look. Then after that, I'll give the names, I'll give the description, what is the work of the agent, the role, the company that the agent will be associated with, right? And here the main thing is the agent user. So the agent user will give accessibility to the agent, what certain permissions needs to be aligned to the agent, what certain things that the agent can do in every other use case. The last point is this one. So it gives the enhanced log. So for example, there are any issues that are going on when we initiate a chat. In that scenario, you should opt for this checkbox. It will give you brief info about the error messages or however the life cycle of the session was, right? After that, let's navigate to the next section. I have created a different agent for the time frame. I'll name it as well, that's fine. Let's click on this is Salesforce support agent for the time frame. We will handle customers queries related to case. This is a test one, so for the time frame we can proceed with the next step. We'll talk more about the data sources or the data library in later point of view. For the time frame, I'll just proceed with the create button, right? Once we create the button, there are different errors. Okay, it's because of the name. For the time frame, we can ignore that. How typically it works is once you submit it, you'll create a new agent. So here you see, right, agent for service agent. For example, this is the one that got created. Let's open this one up. I'll brief you about every other things at this time frame. So here, yeah. So this is the overview page. Over here you see the details. The first thing is API name. What is the type of the agent? Is this agent active or not, right? So in the details, you'll have name, the API name, the description, the role that we added over there. Similarly, the company as Salesforce. And every time you can opt for the same user that exists in the org, or you can create a new user. If I want to see the enhanced log, I'll just toggle click on that specific checkbox, right? So we have topics. Within the agent, there will be different topics. What is the use case of topics? For example, I expect you would have used Einstein bot, right? There are intents and utterances. Similarly, so whenever a customer types anything, it will trigger something, right? It should trigger a specific topic or specific intent. For example, a user reaches out to us asking to update the case to close. So in that scenario, the topic should be case. For example, a customer opts to close the case. In that scenario, the message, case, closure, and all these things, these are utterances, right? It will trigger that specific topic or intent, which will be then triggering the actions associated to the topics. For example, there are account management. Anything specific to the accounts will be triggered here, right? And appointments, the case management, and every other thing. Within all these topics, there will be specific actions as well. What you want to trigger after that. For example, I want to update the case status, right? It will be an action, a flow, apex, or whatever. It will be changing the status of the case to closed as per the end users use case. Similarly, everything will be done by the agent user, right? This agent user should have the access to update the record if I want to close the case, right? So this is about the topics. Then after that, we navigate to the system messages. We do have two sections over here only, that is the welcome message and the error message. For example, there are errors, this will be the message that you see. In case of welcome message, this will be the message that you see. After that, we have the language. So the agent, right, agent will handle different languages as well. It you can like simply enable it over here. This setup is the one which will help you configure this part out. We'll see over the setup part a bit later in the builder. So after that, we have connections. In the connections, we do have this new feature. We'll discuss about this as well. What is the adaptive response formats? Other than that, there are two things in the connections. First is the omni inbound flow, and other than that, it's the connection. We'll discuss more about this as well. It is majorly that when an end user initiates a chat, right, it should trigger to this agent that will be configured by the inbound omni-channel flows. And similarly, once the agent leaves the conversation, agent I mean over here is the Agentforce agent, leaves the conversation because the end user wants a human interaction. In that scenario, the outbound omni flow will be triggered, which I don't see it over here. The reason is because it is visible in the builder. So we'll see over there, right? So for the time frame, I'll just open the builder. So we discuss about the topics, right? So in the case management, if you see, we'll have different name, like the name, firstly the classification of what handles, what is the scope of this agent, and different instructions. There could be different scenarios as per your use case. You'll type the instructions, right? And we have different topics. So if you want to create a case, then this one you'll opt for a custom implementation if there is some different use case. Else you have if I want to show that to you, we'll see it in the asset. So there are different standard actions that are provided from Salesforce. You can navigate over here in the asset library and have a look. You can check it by yourself as well, right? These are all standard ones that you'll see, right? After that, once this is created, once we have the topics and the actions aligned, we have the data library. So for the time frame, you see there is a data library that we have created to which I have associated, and this data library is related to knowledge. So for example, when an end user wants to ask something and we have certain things in the knowledge base, it will search in the knowledge base and revert back to the customer with the articles, knowledge articles. This is how it works. We'll set it up, will help you to configure this thing in later point of view. There will be a different video for that. In case of connections, we discussed about two things, right? One is inbound omni-channel flow, second is the outbound one. So here, how do we configure it? There will be a specific video, but I just want to help you figure out, right? So in the inbound omni-channel flow, we'll be triggering this specific agent to, so for example, when end user clicks on a chat button, it should trigger this agent, right? So it will call that specific omni flow, which will be the inbound omni flow for this agent. And when the conversation are done with this Agentforce agent, it will redirect to the outbound omni flow. We can configure it over here. So this will be the escalation message, and after that we opt for the omni flow that we want to use. In case of inbound, you don't have to opt from here, it will be automatically done because we associated the omni flow, the inbound omni flow, right? We'll see you on to that in later point of view. Then after everything is done, you'll see the connections, correct? We do have context variable over here, right? So there will be a specific section as well. This video is specifically detailed video, not a detailed video, but a brief video about how Agentforce works and what certain things we have in the Agentforce. So in the context variable, these are all the variables that can be used within the conversation, and it will take the input, we can update the input, and every other use case can be done, right? So this context variable also has a filter if you want to use. For example, once certain context variable values change, I want to filter, okay, these certain topics should be triggered, only these certain topics should be triggered, right? Things like that. We'll discuss about this in the later point of view when we are talking about the context variable. In the languages, default language at the moment is English. Since it is active, that's the reason we are not able to change it. You can change it to any other reason, languages as per your use case, and whenever end user texts anything, it will revert back in the default language. But if you want the agent to be multilingual, you can use the default one, but if user is opting for that, like sending a message in their specific languages, it will trigger automatically and call the, like, use the responses in that same language. Similarly, we have these event logs. Here you will see the events, and if you want to narrow down what specifically happened on that session, you will be able to see which topic was called, which action was called, and every other thing. So that's how the Agentforce service agent looks like. This was specifically for the briefing of this agent or the overview. We'll talk more about each sections in the next video. Thank you so much.